want to talk about something today that's very exciting because a lot of questions are coming in and a lot of patients are asking about this. So did you know that PCOS was just renamed yesterday to PMOS? So I'm going to talk about what does this mean? What is the name change? Is it just the name change? What else is involved? What are the symptoms of PMOS? And also, what are the naturopathic and Ayurvedic perspectives in terms of treatment? Now, I'll just say that PCOS affects about 1 out of 8 women, and it is very, very common and often underdiagnosed. So often women are going about their daily activities, having maybe very mild health issues, and don't actually know that they have this concern. So what this means is that when we can understand what's going on, what's happening in our body, this means we can better treat it as well. So let's just break this down. PCOS, Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. So typically there was a lot of focus in terms of diagnosing this as a hormonal imbalance that often involved cysts on the ovaries. Now the problem with this was that not everybody with PCOS has cysts on the ovaries, and sometimes they're not actually cysts, they're just follicles that have not matured properly. So this was one problem. The other problem is when we focus on one organ and try to treat that, then often we are missing a bigger part of the picture. So PMOS, the M stands for metabolic, and this is where we look at the whole aspect of the metabolism. And this plays into part with insulin resistance and weight gain and all of those other factors that we often see along with PCOS as well. So let's look at the name change. Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome is now called Polyendocrine Metabolic Ovarian Syndrome. So this involves the hormones, but more than just the reproductive organs. This also involves the metabolic picture as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this. So a couple of things here. PCOS does not just affect the ovaries. This is a syndrome that also affects your metabolism, your mood, your skin, your hair, inflammation, cardiovascular health, and so many other factors. So what are the common symptoms of PMOS? Sorry, I'm still getting used to saying it. So what are the common symptoms of this? So often women will see irregular periods. That is one big red flag that people will actually start getting diagnosed in the first place. But the thing is, this is not always the case. Many women have regular periods, regular hormones, and still have PMOS. Acne, this is a common issue as well with the androgens. The male androgen hormones are often high in PMOS. So what this means is that now there's more tendency to acne, and there's more tendency to hair loss as well because of DHT and the male pattern baldness or female pattern baldness. So hair loss. Excessive hair growth in the wrong places. So we're not talking about the head, but people who start getting chin hair or body hair, that is also another common symptom. And then weight gain and difficulty losing weight. Because there's usually a factor of insulin resistance and metabolic issues, which is really, really important here, there are issues with gaining weight and managing that weight as well, for sometimes no obvious reasons. So that's another one. Now, keep in mind, not everybody with this condition has weight gain. There are the people who are thin who also have PMOS as well. So we need to keep that as a factor to understand. Then we've got mood, energy, fatigue, inflammation, anxiety and depression are more common in PMOS because of the hormonal changes as well. And then sleep and many other factors and digestion that all come to play. So the important thing is here, we're not seeing it as a fragmented organ-specific issue, but an overall metabolic endocrine system that we can start to treat not as fragmented pieces, but as a whole person to get you better. So when we look at the metabolic issues, the endocrine issues, let's take a quick look at the naturopathic and Ayurvedic perspective, because this is something that I see a lot in practice. It's always on our radar. We can do tests for this. We can assess through symptoms. There's many ways we can understand and diagnose this as well, so that you don't have to be searching and figuring out what the problem is, but really understand that this is my issue and then we can treat it. So typically blood sugar blood sugar regulation, insulin resistance is really, really critical here. I've seen patients who have gone through this journey, and just by changing their diet in terms of sugar and in terms of exercise, those two factors do play a big role here in PMOS. We often add in supplements to help with blood sugar regulation if this is the case as well. We also look at cortisol and hormonal balance as well. So looking at stress levels, looking at ways to support more balanced circadian rhythms. When we talk about Ayurveda, now Ayurvedic perspective with PMOS is it integrates all the understanding of the doshas, Agni, Ama, and all of your tissues as well. So I'm going to keep this really brief here, but Ayurvedic perspective looks at first, one of the important things is your Agni. This is your fire, your metabolic fire. How is your metabolism working? How is your digestion working? How is the intelligence in those cells working to communicate with each other? And this is often a core imbalance in PMOS as well. So we look at the Agni. We also look at toxins. When Agni is not working well, we've often got Ama or toxins as well that start to build up in the body. And this leads to things like weight gain or other issues. We've also got issues with the doshas. So typically PMOS usually involves all the three doshas, but Kapha is a predominant dosha that is often imbalanced in this case as well. Vata often comes to play as well, and you might see some Pitta as well. So understanding your constitution, understanding what doshas are at play, understanding your Agni give a good framework for how we start treating PCOS. So if PMOS is something that you've been struggling with, read some more information. I've got a blog. More information is coming out there. Spread this with more women who need to hear it, because if this can be addressed, fertility issues, mood issues, self-esteem, body, all of these are really important factors that so many women are struggling with out there. And there are ways that you can treat this.